Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. It will help me massively to grow this channel. If you're new here, my name is Sophie and I just share everything about my life in my 30s on this channel. If you are interested in manifestation, you can come and follow me on my other channel, which I will put here. And that's where I talk about all things law of assumption. So today I'm going to be talking to you about what I've been doing over the past 30 days, because 30 days ago I made a dramatic change to the way that I eat. I changed my diet completely and I just want to share with you my experience. So I thought I'll do 30 days and then I will talk about it and tell you what I think. So the reason that I have done this is partly because I wanted to lose a bit of weight. My weight has gone up and down my whole goddamn life. I have been much heavier, I've been much lighter, and it's just going an ongoing up, down, up, down, up, down, yo-yo dieting in my younger years, in my 20s. I don't do that anymore. But I was your typical, grew up in the 90s when everybody was trying to be stick thin, 2000s, like don't eat anything with fat in, thin, thin, thin is the goal. And it just left me pretty disordered in the way that I eat. So I would be going to like Weight Watchers, I'd be going to Slimming World. I even went to Rosemary Connolly. I was in that church hall when I was just 12 years old, getting weighed every week. And so my journey with like my health and the way that I eat specifically has been a long one, like my lifelong. I came out of the womb with these chubby cheeks and I'm not mad, like I'm happy for them to stay. But I was more concerned about my health in general because I have spent most of my life eating like an unsupervised child at a birthday party and just assuming that at some point I was just going to sort of stop doing that, but it was always tomorrow, next month, Monday, next year, and never know. um, and my diet consisted mostly, I'm going to say like 90% of sugary stuff, sugary shit foods, particularly chocolate, which is my arch nemesis and also my favourite thing in the world. So I've done pretty much every different way of eating that you can think of. Literally, I have lived off hot dogs for a month when I was 17. For many years, I did like a juice fast every January. I've been to every slimming club. I have tried everything to change the way that I felt about food and the way that I would just always sort of obsess over sweet things, and nothing has ever worked for me until now. Until now, we have cracked the fucking code at last. So I just really wanted to focus on improving my health because I was thinking, actually, so if you're 36, babe, you're 36, you're going to go into your 40s and then you're going to start getting all the shit that goes with eating the wrong kind of food, diabetes, blood pressure, heart disease. I don't want any of that shit when I'm older. I want to be healthy. I want to live a long life. I just want to be happy. And I want my health to match the rest of my life, which is all just like a good vibe. So the way that I went about this, although I don't talk about manifestation on this channel, I am just going to mention it in this case because I am a firm believer that it's identity first. If you ever want to make a change, you have to first shift your identity so that it becomes normal for you to behave in a certain way. Because if you don't, you're always relying on willpower. You're always hoping that you're going to be able to last, but you're never really changing the thing. So like, for example, with smokers, people will say, oh, like I'm trying to quit smoking and I've not had a cig for 2 weeks, but they're always still keeping that identity of a smoker. So eventually they go back to that identity. Does that make sense? I hope so. So I decided that I was going to affirm, and by affirm I just mean think the same thought over and over and over and over and over again in my mind, which is how you rewire your subconscious mind to take on a new identity. And instead of always thinking about like, I'm going to lose weight or, you know, like a specific weight thing, which has always been in the past, I decided to just focus on like respecting my body, because when you eat just sugar, you're disrespecting your body. Like, let's be honest. And I felt a little bit out of integrity with what I teach and how I was treating myself, because I'm teaching people like to put themselves on the pedestal, to have massive respect for themselves and who they are, to assume a new identity. But this was the one thing that I really struggled with, was I was still eating in a way that was like not respecting myself at all. So I decided I was going to change that identity first. So I started robotically affirming, which means that you just say it over and over again. You don't have to worry about the feeling or anything. You just think the thought. And I repeatedly thought the thought of, I respect my body, I respect my body, I respect my body. And what happened was, within about 4 days, I started to naturally shift not just the way that I eat, but any sort of like behavior that's disrespectful to your body, like not sleeping properly, not going exercising, like, you know, all of the things that you associate with like disrespecting your body, they started to fall away. And then I started to become naturally more like inclined to eat better food, to be more conscious of what I was eating, to buy better quality food and not like processed shit. And then what happened was, and this is how manifestation works, is when you start to shift your identity, things unfold in the 3D so that you can get to the path that is going to take you to your desired result, which is, for me, better health. And I also want to say, like, I'm very fortunate in that I actually don't have anything wrong with me whatsoever. I don't have any diabetes, I don't have pre-diabetes, I don't have high blood pressure, I don't have any issues at all medically. But let's be honest, if I was to continue eating like that, just eating loads of sugar and shit all the time, in my 40s, my 50s, it's not looking good, is it? So I didn't want to get to that point. So I'm very, very grateful and very fortunate that like my body has just hung on in there for me uh, until I decided to make this change. So I was led to this video of a guy called Eddie Abu. Now, you might have already seen him. I had already seen him before, and I took no fucking notice of him because my identity didn't align with what he was saying. So I started watching one of his videos, and it was like a 45-minute video, which I will actually link in the description because it really changed the game for me. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be the thing for you, because I'm a firm believer that when you shift your identity, you'll be shown your way. Like, and there's no wrong way, but you're going to be shown the path that unfolds. For me, it was my mate Eddie. So I watched this 45-minute video, and he was talking about insulin, and something just like clicked, and I was like, oh, right, okay, this is why it's always a struggle, because you just start to think, and this is the same when you're changing anything, it doesn't have to be to do with like dieting or anything like that. When you try something so many times over and over again, and you've tried all the different things, you start to believe that you just can't do it, because you've literally tried so hard, you've done all of the different things, and you're still finding it a struggle. So when he was talking about insulin, I was like, oh, right, this is why I've been struggling. Because let me just give you a little 101 for anybody who's not well versed in the insulin world, because that was certainly me 30 days ago. When you are eating calories, those foods that you're eating have got some sort of different like instructions for your body. So let's say that you eat bread, for example. So you eat a couple of slices of bread, because of the makeup of that bread, like, you know, the I don't know, but you know what I mean, like the stuff that's in it, that bread tells your body to store the calories from the bread and not use them, right? Stay with me. So then you're eating the calories, you're trying to stay in your calorie deficit or whatever, but you're fucking starving, babes. You're starving because the bread has been put in the cupboard, which is also known as your ass or your hips or your belly or your double chin, wherever the cupboard is. So it's being stored away and your body's not being able to use it because it's being instructed to put it away for later, and then you're hungry again. So obviously you keep eating more sugar, more carbs, because you're just not getting the fuel that you need, right? When you eat something like a steak, that food is being used. The instructions are, this is fuel, use it now. It's not going in the cupboard, so it's being used, so you're not hungry and you're not then constantly craving all the sweet stuff. And I was like, yeah, that's bollocks, but whatever, because like I said, I've tried a million different things. I've done like low carb before and all of that. But the difference with this was talking really about like eating high fat things as well, because I was conditioned from the world around me, nobody specifically, but just the world that I grew up in, that fat is bad. Like, fat is what makes you gain fat. And it's so wrong. Like, it's not true at all. So I was on the low fat, sugar free, all of that processed shit. And basically, I was training my body to store fat all the time, and at the same time creating massive cravings for more shit food, because obviously my body was not getting that fuel. So now I changed my diet so that it's being fueled properly, and I've changed it to eating pretty much, I'm going to say 95% whole foods. And the other 5% is maybe like coleslaw or like a bit of mayonnaise, or, you know, a dressing or something like that. But it's nothing wild. You know, I'm not a party animal anymore. So I've been eating very clean and very high protein, high fat. So lots of butter, avocados, nuts, fatty meat, fish, all of that stuff. All of the stuff that I would previously have avoided because it's like, oh, it's high fat and high calories. No, that's been going on by the gallon. Um, so yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been cutting out like all sugary processed carbs. So that's like obviously chocolate, sweets, things like that, but also bread, rice, pasta, oats, anything that you might consider to be like healthy and part of like a balanced diet. I've been getting rid of that. Now, I want to say this. I'm the gal that cannot stick to a diet for more than, I'm not even going to say a day, I'm going to say till lunch, because the cravings that I had for sugar were so bad. So I have not used willpower for this. Something has changed in me, in my identity, first of all, but also like chemically, I'm gonna say, in my body, that I now don't have the cravings, so I'm not using the willpower. Let me tell you that again. I'm not using willpower because I don't fucking have any. So if you're thinking like, oh, I could never do that, you can, babe. You can. Trust me, because I've tried everything before. So it's day 30. Well, actually, it's day 29, but I'm filming this at night time. But it's going to be day 30 in the morning. And I will not be going back to the way that I ate before. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, there's going to be a time where I have a slice of cake or I have a piece of bread or something, I'm sure. I'm not going to be like holier than thou for the rest of my life. But 95% of the time, I'll be eating like this because it's the only thing that has made me lose weight as quickly as it has, and also has made me feel in control. And that's the main thing for me, is I always felt out of control with how I was eating, because I would want to eat healthily and I just felt like I couldn't, because I was just so desperate for sugar. I would get up out of bed at night and go to Tesco's for sugar, like late at night, because I was like, I can't even rest. So I started this. The first day was fine because I was thinking, like, I was really thinking about what all the things that Eddie Abu had said in this video, and it was just sort of clicking for me. And I was thinking, like I said, I was already feeling a little bit more inclined to be healthier because I'd been affirming that new identity of I respect my body, I respect my body, I respect my body. So I think that made a huge difference. I would definitely start with the identity. The second day, I was tired. Like, I fell asleep on the couch and I stayed there all day. Like, I did sleep for most of the day. I wasn't ill. I didn't feel like really sick or anything. I maybe felt like slightly sickly, but nothing much. I didn't have like keto flu or feel shit. It was one day where I was tired and, you know, I could have powered through. Like, if I was at work or something, I would have been fine. But I was just really tired. So I slept all day. That was it. That was it. By day 3, there was no negative side effects at all, nothing at all. I've not had any single negative side effects, nothing. But I have seen several benefits, which I'm going to tell you about now. So, the first one is I lost £16, which in 30 days is obviously quite a lot. Now, I think most of that was just water weight because I really retain water like I always have. You want to see my ankles when I get off the plane? I have got cankles for days. So I know that I retain a lot of water naturally. I'm not going to say naturally, actually. I think because of the way that I ate. Um, because obviously the more carbs you eat, the more water you hold on to. So I was very, very puffy. Like in the mornings, I would wake up and my face would be super puffy, my eyelids would be puffy, my like all here would be puffy, my nose would be puffy, everything. Like I'd just be like a little puff of fish. So I'll put some I'll put like a video or a picture of me talking here so you can see if you think I look less puffy. If you don't think I look less puffy, then keep your goddamn comments to yourself, okay, babes? Don't spoil my delusion. But I do feel I do feel less puffy. Yeah, Cato. The second thing was like I had a little bit of eczema on my eye, just a minimal bit of eczema that went very quickly, gone. I've always had like a bit of a tremor in this hand and it appears to have gone. Now, I have got rid of that before when I was taking magnesium. That also helped with that, but I've not taken any vitamins or anything this month. I've just been eating differently. I have got one eye that is bigger than the other. I don't know if you can tell. It's been like that for years. I don't know why. Somebody did whack me in the eye with an acorn when I was in year 10, but I don't think it was that. It's like pressure behind my eye. So although that's still there slightly, it was getting really, really bad. Like it was bothering me to the point where I actually couldn't see properly at all through that eye. At night time, it would be really puffy again after I'd been eating carbs all day and sugar. My eye would be really like it was trying to escape from its socket. That stopped. It's still a little bit like swollen, but it's not getting worse at night or anything like that. It's just obviously chilled out a bit. So I must have had like a lot of inflammation there that's now gone. I feel like my hair is a bit shinier. I don't know if you can tell because I've not got my ring light on. And I might just be making that up, but we'll take it as a win. I do feel like my hair is shinier. My skin, I don't feel like I've seen any dramatic changes in my skin, but my skin has been fine. Probably slightly better than normal, but not dramatically. But the main one for me is I get and have got for, I'm going to say maybe 3 years, pain in, I think it's my kidney. It's like here, just here, on my left hand side. And that would happen when I get in bed at night. I'm going to say like once a week, maybe. Where I've just started talking about it and now it's coming back. No. So once a week, roughly, sometimes twice a week, I would get this pain that would keep me awake all night. And it was just like a toothache, like a dull ache, and it's so annoying. I have no idea what caused it, but it's been there and getting more frequent over the last few years. I've not had that at all for 30 days, which is a winner chicken dinner because I don't know what that was, but it didn't look good. I was like, ooh, that seems like a problem. So that has completely gone. After I have finished eating, I feel exactly the same. I don't feel like super stuffed. I don't feel bloated. I don't feel tired. I just feel very stable. And I assume that that's because of your blood sugar. Like, I'm not spiking the insulin anymore. So I'm just keeping my blood sugar very, very stable. And that's been my priority. So I've not been counting calories or anything like that. I've just been focusing on not eating foods that are going to spike my insulin. And also eating things like in a different order. So when I've been having berries, for example, which are going to spike it very slightly more, but not much, I have eaten something like high fat first, and that helps like balance that out. So my chocolate addiction has completely gone. It's completely gone. I now have a bar of chocolate in the fridge, which is dark because I have had dark chocolate, but like 80%, 85% cocoa. It's been in the fridge all week, guys. I eat a little square at a time. Unheard of, unheard of. When I tell you, like in a general day, I would be eating, well, every single day, a large bag of Maltesers. I don't mean the like normal large ones, I mean like the ones that you get at the cinema. Every day. Every day. And that would not be the only thing. Like, I would also be eating other bars of chocolate throughout the day and then eating hardly any food because obviously I'm getting all of my calories from chocolate. So you can see why this is a problem. Like, I was practically getting scurvy. um, and to have a bar of chocolate in the fridge and it just be like any other food, wild. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. So yeah, that's been my experience. I told you, didn't I? I lost £16. I think I already told you that one. But I did lose the first £14 in the first 2 weeks. And then I lost a couple of pounds after. And that's been a little bit frustrating, I'm not going to lie, because I was like, oh, this is good. I'm on a roll. And it's just been like. So that was kind of annoying. But when I've looked into that, apparently that is the in between stage from your body learning, like going from burning carbs to burning fat. So we're just going to give it a minute to catch up. But I feel so happy about this change. And bear in mind, I'm an ex vegan. Have I actually told you what I've eaten? I don't think I have. I'm gonna tell you what I've eaten just in case I've not already filmed this bit. Sorry if I've already told you. But I've been eating high fat, so avocados, nuts, butter, oil, fish, things with high fat in, fatty meats a bit, but I'm not that mad keen on that. So, I've got it mostly from avocados. I've been eating lots of steak, chicken, meat in general, sausages, but I've tried to get like clean ones, the ones that are not full of filler. I've been eating lots of berries. I have had dark chocolate, but I'm not going to say lots of dark chocolate because I've actually not. I've probably had like 3 bars in 30 days, which is just wild. What else have I had? Eggs. I've had a lot of eggs, cheese, a little bit of yogurt. Not much of that. I think I've had that like once or twice. I've also been out for meals, so I will just tell you about that as well because I think that's important. Sometimes when you are changing the way that you eat, you feel like you're not able to socialise and you're being a bit unsociable by not eating. But I went out and I had like meatball starter. I got like 2 portions of the meatballs and this broccoli side, which was absolutely delicious and really enjoyed it. And everybody was looking at it and going, "Oh, that looks nice." I had what did I have in the restaurant? I've been to the same restaurant twice and had the same thing. Chicken tikka starter, so that was like with mint sauce and salad. And then for my main, I had a goat's cheese salad with bacon and it had a bit of honey on. So like I've not been like so strict that I've been like, oh, we can't have honey. I've had that a couple of times. I've had a chicken shashlik from the Indian. So you can definitely still eat out. Like I've been to a barbecue, that was great because obviously I was just eating loads of meat. but it's just been very easy. It has been super, super easy. And I always thought, especially like probably 10 years ago or so, I was a vegan. I was a vegan. Might not have even been 10 years ago. And no, it wasn't. I don't think it was. I was a vegan for about 4 years. And if you'd have told me, if you'd have told me that I'd be eating eggs and steak, I would have shown my ass on the town hall steps because I thought that was like super unhealthy. I thought it was awful, like, don't eat meat, don't fancy it, don't like it. So to change my diet to be eating 90% whole foods, animal products is crazy. And I think we've all like been told that eating that way, like eating lots of meat and animal products, is a bad thing and it's going to give you high cholesterol and it's going to be bad for your heart, and we should be eating loads of vegetables and we shouldn't be eating so much red meat. I've come to the conclusion that that's actually bollocks, because we wouldn't have eaten like that if we were cavemen. This is an argument that I've had many times when I was a vegan, but I must admit, I feel significantly better now than I did then. I was at my heaviest, I was at my worst immune system, I was covered in spots, my skin was grey, I was fat as fuck, like I was just not having a good time. I was badly functioning really, really badly. Like, just I had acne, I had all sorts of stuff going on. Now I will say at that point in my life when I was a vegan, I was also going through a lot of shit. So I was very, very stressed, and I think a lot of it was to do with that. But definitely don't think the malnutrition was helping, because I was existing off like just purely processed foods that weren't even really foods. Um, so I've definitely come round to the idea that actually meat is not something to be wary of. It's something that's going to heal your body. And there are so many studies and so much stuff. Like, there's an amazing YouTube video of Jordan Peterson talking about how it reverses things like Alzheimer's disease and all these different things. And you just think, well, I'm going to try it because it obviously is the key. Like the lowering the insulin is the key, and doing that by eating lots of animal products because they just don't spike your insulin levels is what, for me, that's my experience, my honest experience. And like I said, I have been a vegan, I've been a vegetarian, I've tried every single different way of eating under the sun, and I have never felt better than I do now. So let me know if you are going to try that as well. But I think really the key point is that we are told that it's really extreme to eat in a way like Eddie Abu or like Jordan Peterson. I mean, Jordan Peterson is a little bit extreme. He only eats beef. That's all he eats. He doesn't eat anything else now. Uh, but that was because of his mental health, and he was saying he was in really bad depression, and the only thing that's helped him has been switching to just animal based. Think of how many people in the world now have got like diseases and how chronic they are, and diabetes and heart disease and cancers, and even things like, you know, mental health. Is like, I've been diagnosed with ADHD, and I think, you know, they were right. But the symptoms of it, like the negative symptoms of it, what if they could be controlled through your diet? Because the only thing that we have in common, all of us now, is that we all tend to eat a lot of processed foods, even when we're trying not to. There's so much processed food about, like, that's the one thing that we've got in common, and that sort of marries up with the fact that everybody's health, mentally and physically, is worse now than it was 30 years ago. Well, there must be a reason there, and I do think it's to do with the food that we eat. So I will be making no changes to the way that I'm eating. I'm going to carry on eating like this. I'm going on holiday next week and I will be having a few drinks. I've not been drinking either, by the way, but that was separate. Like I stopped drinking months ago. Um, we'll be having a few drinks. I'll probably have a little baklava or a few desserts here and there, but I have no desire to go and like just binge on holiday and eat everything just because I'm on holiday, because I don't want to feel like shit anymore. Simple as that. I don't want to feel sluggish and bloated and tired and like I'm busting out of my clothes. I don't want to feel like that. So why would I change it when it's been so easy? So I hope that that has helped someone. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll speak to you soon. Don't forget to subscribe.